So I wanted to spend a moment talking with you what my expectations are for agents who join Duford Insurance Group, no matter if they sell final expense, Medicare, ACA, or annuities. One of the things you guys got to discover if you're looking for a new home, whether you're brand new or experienced in the insurance business and want to sell one of the aforementioned products, you got to make sure that the agency you join fits your value system and is as best as possible aligned with your personal goals of what you want to accomplish in the sales business of insurance. And so what this video will serve is an honest and sober description of who would make a good fit for Duford Insurance Group, and also describing who would not make a good fit for Duford Insurance Group. So what I have discovered here is I think the differentiating factor to joining my agency and making sure it's a good fit is to making sure that you have what we would call an entrepreneurial spirit. Let me describe what this means. To have an entrepreneurial spirit means that you are comfortable. You're comfortable being on your own, but you also appreciate not being alone. We'll get more to that in a minute, because support and training and help is an absolute cornerstone to the Duford Insurance Group business model. But the key thing here is you got to be entrepreneurial. And what that means to me, after being in business really since I was 21, I had a personal training business. I'm 37, almost 38 now at the recording of this, running a successful national insurance agency. What entrepreneurism means to me is that you have a higher sense of self-discipline. You are not afraid to go to work. You're not afraid to figure things out on your own. You're not afraid to just, in fact, you are afraid just to sit around and do nothing. You want to get to work, and you want and have to have some level of activity to get going. You have a higher sense of self-sufficiency, meaning you can figure things out for your own. You don't need to be handheld or babysit as often. And nobody needs to, like I said, micromanage you. In a sense, you disdain the employment world where a boss breathes down your back and patronizes you, where you know personally in your heart of hearts that you can run things. You are self-sufficient, and you can go to work and need nobody to nag you to get up in the morning to go to work. That kind of mentality is rare. A lot of you who are watching this don't have that. And what you've got to discover for yourself is if you really have that entrepreneurial drive, because a lot of people think they have it, and then when they go actually do the work required, they realize, wow, having a job wasn't that bad after all. If you feel that way, it may not be a good fit with the Duford Insurance Group, but if you are an entrepreneurial in spirit, even if you've worked for somebody your whole life and you feel the desire for freedom and autonomy that entrepreneurial activities give, then working at Duford Insurance Group and running your business through us is a perfect fit. That's how my spirit is. That's how I operate. And what I'm trying to do here at Duford Insurance Group is embody and imbue that same mentality and spirit in the agents that join. And I feel like this is something you either have it or you don't. And again, I'd rather not waste my time nor yours in figuring that out. If you don't have that, if you need more of that micromanagement and hand-holding, another agency that's going to provide that is probably a better fit. Now, one thing I will clarify with this, what we don't do is leave you alone. You're not on your own. We give you the resources to be successful. We expect you to do your part. You got to go put this thing together. You got to, as we'll talk about in a moment, invest in leads. You got to take that leap of faith. Nobody on our end is going to rah-rah you over the cliff. You've got to have that capability on your own. But we will give you the resources to feel confident and competent. And I think those two combinations is something you will get through our sales and marketing training. Check out those other videos that I've done on how our systems work to get some more context to how that works. So go to davidduford.com/FAQ to learn more about how all that works. But you really aren't on your own with us. We're here to absolutely help you. Again, look at davidduford.com/testimonials. The most common recurring couple of terms in the testimonials is training and support. And that is from people who were solicited, yes, but not paid for their testimonial. So that's something we really hold dear. And if you value that, but also the independence and freedom and autonomy that comes from entrepreneurship, again, David Duford and my agency, Duford Insurance Group, is an absolute good fit for you. The second thing here that's very important is that you've got to be willing to invest in leads. This is very true for final expense, very true for Medicare. With annuities, you're probably not going to start with annuities, so you're probably already going to start annuities later, which is a cross-sell from your book of business or your lead system, so you'll already be buying leads. And ACA tends to, for the most part, be the exception to this if you're willing to do the small business strategy using ICRA. That is a possible way to get into the business without lead expenses. But most of you watching this are either going to do final expense for the most part or Medicare. And the bottom line is you got to invest in leads. This is a business, not a job. All businesses have one thing in common, and that's costs associated with running a business. Again, what kind of restaurant have you seen that doesn't buy ingredients, pay wages to the cooks or the waitresses, or doesn't have a lease? They all have to do that or they're not in business. Likewise, you can have a life insurance license, you can have appointments to carriers, but if you don't have leads, you're not in business. So the bottom line thing for us at Duford Insurance Group is you have to be willing to invest in leads. Well, so how much in money do you have to invest? We'll talk about that momentarily, but I also want you to stick around and listen to what I think is the bright side of this business in the sense of how fast you can test to see if this is a right business model for you or not. So first of all, what we recommend for agents is $500 to $1,000 a week full-time and closer to $500 a week, give or take, for part-time work. If you're nervous about investing that money, or if you don't have the money, this is not a good fit for you. Everybody's nervous about investing money into leads if they've never done it before. I can remember the reality of that as well. But it is a requirement with how we do business. And the one thing I think that helps smooth over the risk factor, because nobody can guarantee your success in this business, not even me, even if you do everything right. Some people just won't be successful. It's just the way it is. But the one thing that smooths over and makes this a little bit more palatable is how long does it take to see success? How will I know if this business is right for me or not? And the one thing about final expense and to an extent Medicare have that tell you and give you an idea if this is something that is good for you or not is that in that first full week after you're trained up and ready to sell, that first full week on the phone or in person, we support telesales and face-to-face. If you're not making at least one sale, based on my analysis and basically watching my agents, the people who don't make sales in their first full week in the business, I will tell them if I see this that this is a business not for you. I have never seen a eureka moment 3 months after getting started, earnestly grinding, earnestly working, earnestly studying, making as much work as they can and not getting sales, and then the light switch flips and they start being successful. It just doesn't happen. Instead, what I see is that agents generally who don't do well that first week just flip and fail out of the business entirely. But the ones who do sell usually have the best odds of long-term success if they can keep their energy, motivation, and focus up, and that's a whole nother story. But my point is this, and this is a good thing. You may be like, well, that sucks. You know, if I don't make sale, I'm not good for this business? Yeah, but that's a good thing because a lot of businesses require a lot more time, a lot more effort and financial investment to see if it even works. Again, think of the restaurant business. You can't just throw $1,000 at it and see if it works. More like $50,000 to $100,000, and more like a year before you might break even and see if there's even any opportunity in it. So with final expense and Medicare, it's very quick to get started and very quick to test if it's a good fit for you or not. And not a lot of business models can say that. And that's why I think final expense, even though you do have an investment requirement to join Duford Insurance Group or to sell it, final expense gives you a great opportunity very quickly to see if it's right and without a lot of downside loss relative to other business models. So I think that's an encouraging thing. So those are the two things I look for people who want to join Duford Insurance Group. They're both very, very important to have. And if you don't have either of those, this is not a good fit. Look for a call center job, somebody that's going to pay you a wage or provide you free leads. Those are going to be better opportunities than what we have. You got to be a business owner mindset, entrepreneur mindset, and you've got to be willing to take a risk on yourself in the form of investing in leads. That's just required of any business, and we're no different. And if you are not scared off by anything I've described here, if you're more enthused than you were when you started and sound like what we're saying is a good fit for you, then I invite you to go to davedduford.com/FAQ. You can get more of insight of how our agency works, to see if it's a good fit for you. You'll see what steps to take after you go there, to attend a live Q&A call, to attend a one-on-one session to see more about our agency and if it's a good fit. And if there's anything I can do to help, please comment below, go to the site, reach out to us, and thanks as always for being here. We appreciate you.